Hello, my name is Matthew Marvin. I also go by the Poker Gypsy. Here with Bad Bob from the Fight Junkeez, and probably much more in the future. Y'all got to watch out for this guy.
What's
Lana,
up?
what you got on the intro, Lana?
Oh, I forget that there's intro. Okay. Da 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 da. Part 2 of Bobby Obenpoffer. How you say that? I don't know.
They call me OB.
ODB. Okay. So, in part 2 of the intro for Bobby, guys, we're gonna talk about a few. What is it, like military
We talk about a lot of stuff.
trauma?
It is 9/11. Bob here is a military veteran, but we're going to touch on a little bit of that later. We got to go for the soft stuff first and then work them in, right?
Let's do it. Warm me up.
So
Break me in, baby. Let's go.
I heard you also did brokerage in New York,
Yes.
and you said that was something like for life insurance?
Yeah, so when I first got out of the military, like most vets, I didn't know what I was going to do.
Okay.
So I became a mover through a friend. A friend's brother owned a company. He was a contractor. And every morning when I got up at 4:30 or 5 in the morning, I saw my dad's neighbor get in his Mercedes, walking out of his big-ass house. We'd wave. I had only met him a few times on leave, but I knew he was successful if he was living in the development that we lived in, because my dad's successful. So eventually, we were, I don't know if my kids were on the trampoline and he was in his yard, whatever. We started talking. He's like, "What do you do?" I see you get up very early every morning. And I said, I'm a mover. And he said, "Do you ever sell insurance? You ever sell anything?" And I said, "Besides a little bit of weed and fake motivation to soldiers, no, I've never sold anything." And he said, "Well, why don't you come by and meet with me?" And his father-in-law like started the company like 50 years ago. And I'm a Prince Hall Freemason. I'm an Iraq combat vet. A lot of insurance and Medicare is baby boomers who at that time were all Vietnam vets. So
Yeah.
I made a lot of money because I could walk in and they,
Just talk to 'em,
just
relate
talk
to
to them.
'em.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before you know it, I drank their coffee and I'd walk out $1,000 in an hour, almost every
Nice.
house. I was at like a 99% closing rate just because they trusted me. And I saved a lot of people money. I'd make money be off of the insurance companies, but I'd save these guys thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
When it came to Medicare.
Okay.
Insurance,
Another story.
scam.
Okay.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Listen, insurance companies are like car dealerships. They all have 4 wheels. They all have doors. They all going to get you where you got to go. But some of them are way more expensive than they should be.
Yeah.
And there's always a lower price than what you're going to pay.
Yeah.
You just got to have somebody that's going to be honest. And I was an honest person. So that's kind of why I walked away. I felt like I was taking advantage of the seniors, and it didn't sit well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So, I know I hear a lot about life insurance being important. Why should we have life insurance, and what policy should we go for to not get scammed?
So it's going to go down to your age and your health. Obviously, if you are young and extremely obese and you have sleep apnea and you have type 2 diabetes and, a history of mental, yeah, a history of medical conditions to include mental, and you're on a lot of prescriptions, it's going to be expensive. But if you're young and healthy, almost anywhere you go across the line for a term policy, term meaning a set term of years that you will have that policy and you will pay a set. You want to get what's called a locked-in rate. So you don't want them to be like your landlord and up your rent every year. You want to say, all right, $39.99, we're going to give you $500,000 for the next 30 years if something, God forbid, happens to you. Unless you take your life. That's some of the clauses. Not all the time. There are certain circumstances where you can still get the money. Kind of like the Raider. He killed himself in jail so that the money would pay out. But that was a different circumstance.
Okay.
But I do fully believe, even though everything is a scam,
Yeah.
at some level, that life insurance is very important.
Okay. So, because they do a medical eval, right? Is there an age limit, a minimum age limit? Like, can I get one for a 4-year-old, or is that like too young?
No. A lot of people actually don't do that because they feel like it's morbid and it might be cursing their child or
Right.
there's a lot of truths to being on this planet that we don't want to face. And one of them is death.
Right.
And it's inevitable.
Right. But you can borrow from a life insurance policy, right?
Depending on the life insurance policy, you can use it as an investment. Correct.
Okay. And which one? What are those? Because there's some that's not, and there's some that are, right?
I never sold any of those. I don't want to lie. I don't know those ones.
Okay.
I did mostly term life insurance, final death expense, and long-term care. And then I sold Medicare supplements, which was on the health side, not the life side.
Okay.
So if you turn 65, you go on Medicare, you get Part A. Part B is your supplement, because Medicare only pays 80%.
Right.
You get heart surgery for 150 grand, you're still going to owe 30.
Right.
If you don't have a Part B, so you'll get a letter A through F, F being the best, and your expenses will be paid for.
Okay. So what do you think 401k is going to look like in 10 years?
Oh, man. I don't know what anything in America is going to look like in 10 years, let alone a financial structure like the 401k. That used to be beneficial 30 years ago because you could put money in up to a certain amount every year. Hopefully, your company would match it up to a 5%, maybe 8 if you're lucky, and it would grow at 6 to 14% in the market, depending on where your portfolio is. And you'd make some type of money over time.
Right.
Now, being that inflation's up 430% or some shit, the dollar on, it's not. It doesn't matter anymore. There's no exponential growth.
Right.
We got fucked.
So at what age you think somebody should invest in life insurance, and how much of a policy should they do?
It's kind of like an IRA or like a Roth fund, which back when we were kids, you could put only up to like $2,000 annually. I believe it's up to $12,000 now. My dad used to invest for us in the IRAs. I think people should start immediately.
Okay.
With their children.
What about for final death expenses?
Yeah, that's going up too. I think funerals back in 2012, 2013 were like $8 grand, for a headstone, casket to bury somebody's ceremony. They're up to 15 to 20,000 now.
Yeah.
And you never know. I mean, unless you have a family member that's, got terminal illness and you've been preparing. But most of the people that are older with a terminal illness are unfortunately paying their own fucking death. Because they're older, so they were making money in America before America became a communist country and went to shit.
Right.
So, yeah, it's different now.
Okay. So flipping into the military side and kind of a segue, I guess, what would be your choice for death? Do you want to be buried? Do you want to be cremated? Does it matter? Have you thought about it?
I have. So most of my close family members, like my uncle, my grandma, have all been cremated and put in a lake that our family grew up going camping at.
Okay. And you want to follow that tradition?
I don't know. I do have children, and I don't live on the East Coast anymore, so I don't think it would mean much to them if I die in the desert of Vegas in 125 years from now. And I'm going to leave it to my children. I'm going to leave it open to them to do what they believe.
Yeah.
I mean, I was raised Catholic, but I've broken every commandment, so it doesn't. Yeah. I'm going somewhere. I'll leave it up to my kids, probably.
All right. You said your grandfather was Marines, right?
Yeah.
Stereotypical question. Did he ever own a Camaro?
I never met the man. He was abusive to my dad and to my grandma, so
Really?
He kind of got evicted from the family before I was even born. So
Evicted from the family.
yeah. I actually found where he was 6 months too late. I found his address and the building he was living at when he was older, and he had died 6 months prior. I just wanted to look him in the eyes once.
Yeah.
See what he looked like. Yeah.
Was the experience everything you thought it would be, or you didn't find him?
No, he was dead. I got there 6 months too late.
Too late. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I probably explained it wrong.
No, that was me. I was too busy reading these damn questions because you're usually ahead of me on every question. So
I apologize. I can make it short. I can make
do that. You do that.
Yeah.
All of a
Good.
sudden, you're just answering questions that he had, and I was like, "Damn, he did just answer that question."
He's very good.
He's very good at that. He's
I can make
psychic.
it short. I can make it. Yes. No.
No, don't do that.
No. So we briefly got into it, but you were military police.
Correct.
So what is the difference between being military police and regular police? Because you also wore the badge as a civilian, correct?
We're a little bit more trained, but we're definitely dumber.
I was gonna ask, isn't the military police like its own entity?
Yes.
Like you guys. you guys just govern yourselves, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and I think there's more of a camaraderie. It's like camaraderie. I
Yeah,
guess is
because
how you should
yeah.
say it, 'cause it's all military.
And we
It's
live
military,
together.
police, and you're right. And it's more of a community thing. Where out here, I just think it's more disconnected and more abuse of power. And hey, you got to get these tickets. You got to pay the state. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a machine.
Yeah.
A very biased machine. Racist machine. Corrupt fucking machine. Yep. So military police, I do believe that there's a reason you don't see the military police on the news a lot.
Yeah.
And I think there's two reasons. One is that we're more trained and it trickles down from having better leadership. Being a former leader myself, I set standards to so high, almost unattainable, because when things happened, I wanted them to be more than prepared. Yeah. That does not happen in the civilian sector with law enforcement. And there's a lot more accountability in the military.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a definitely pinpoint word there.
and the last reason is that a lot of your constitutional rights go out the window when you step on a federal installation. You will and can be searched at any time while on this installation. You can be detained for almost any reason.
Right.
Use of force is different. You have a lot less freedoms on a military base.
Right.
So
you have a lot less freedom as military police?
Anybody on the base.
Okay.
No, we have more power as police.
Than regular cops, you think?
Ridiculously more. And that's why you don't see us, MPs in the news a lot.
Yeah.
Because you can't record it.
Yeah.
You're on a military base, bitch. You ain't got no rights.
Right.
And an MP stands for my post.
Oh, you gonna make me skip questions. All right, let me not.
Hey, you can't beat them, join them. And I can't stand cops. I was raised by a cop back in the 80s and 90s, and I grew up around the police, and I loved them, and they were respected. And it was just, the DARE program, and it was so many things that went. It was a community. So do you know what COP stands for?
No.
Community-oriented policing. Doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
There's no goddamn community. It's nothing but separation.
Yeah.
And they try to say that it's between us. And there's a lot of people who earn it, on the civilian side, a lot of people. But the majority of it is the way that the police are treating the civilians. God, I could get into that too. Just the lack of discipline, the ego, the lack of integrity, the swear behind the blue line, and there's just no accountability.
Yeah. Okay. So who is ruining the country? You think government or citizens or a little bit of both?
I'm going to say both because we allow it as a people. And if more people actually stood for the things that they do believe in, instead of just liking a song that touches them. Yeah. I mean, you'd believe have the power because of the numbers. But the government's completely corrupt, and I think we've been seeing it. There's no way politicians make $200,000 a year and do 10 years or 20 years and get out with $200 million in the bank. You're not speaking at that many events,
Right.
There's just so it's both. I think collectively there has to be two to tango, you know?
I always say if I could sue my government for false advertisement or theft by deception, I'd be rich. I'd never have to fucking work again.
So rich. I'd sue the military tomorrow.
Yeah. Any advice for anybody out there who wants to join the military other than go in the Air Force?
That was the first thing. I don't know how you knew that. And you know why, right?
Because it's easy.
No, because the girls look like my wife, and the girls in the Army look like me.
Oh, Lord.
No offense, just kidding. There's a lot of pretty girls. But the Army makes soldiers. The Marines make killers. Sailors make sailors. But the Air Force builds career individuals. So when you get out of the Air Force, you are more subjected to be successful in the corporate world, more accepted as a more educated individual in whatever genre or sector that you learned, because they're setting a higher standard intellectually and training wise than any other branch.
Yeah.
The way that you're treated a little more humanely. No one's threatening to kill you every day. Like the military, I got cursed out and threatened to get murdered every day. Especially having a last name like mine. Every time they couldn't say it, you motherfucker. But yeah, I would say the Air Force. But what I would say is it's a lot bigger of a commitment than you think. Mm-hmm. It's easy to get excited and watch some videos and watch some movies and some YouTubes and see your buddy who you look up to because he did it. But when you're shipping out and you got nothing but a book bag that says Go Army and a manila folder, and you end up in boot camp thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
I think everybody regrets it that first couple of days. And that's where the camaraderie comes in. We all suffer together.
Yeah. So the next question I got to ask you is, if you had to do it all over, would you go back in?
Yes. But I would have stayed in and went into a special operations community.
Even though all the bullshit you've been through, you still would have stayed in. You would have went back in.
Yes. I would have done things differently. I wouldn't have got married at 18 to a German. No offense, but I am the epitome of, like, if you look at, like, if they ever have like a meme of, the soldier's life, of the fuck ups you can do. I'm that guy. The divorces, the drinking, the all the bullshit. I would definitely do it again.
All right. What was your favorite MRE?
What's MRE for the people that don't know?
It's a beautiful 5-course meal that you get to eat while you're freezing in the woods.
Oh.
Meal ready to eat.
Oh, that dry stuff that comes in a bag?
Well, some of them are good.
You get used to it.
I would have to say the Chef Boyardee ones, like the macaroni ones.
Yeah. Did you ever get to eat in town while you was in Iraq? Did you ever get to try
Yeah, we lived
food?
in the city.
Really?
Yeah, we used to break bread with the Iraqis all the time downstairs.
What was your favorite food to eat in town?
It's not a food, but they have an energy drink called Tiger something.
That's definitely not a food.
It's not a food, but I you get the shits a lot over there because the water and the chicken was good, but you don't know if it's a pigeon or not.
Yeah.
I watched an Iraqi soldier with a BB gun while I was chilling on truck watch duty, shoot like 15 pigeons and then walk up and rip the heads off and throw them in a garbage bag.
What?
And I was like, I need to go home. What the fuck is going on? So that's definitely them eating the pigeons.
Huh. All right. If you had to choose one, which one would you choose? Eat MREs for a week or fart in a spacesuit?
I'm contemplating how long I want to be constipated for. I'd probably eat the MREs.
Yeah? Rather than...
Bro, I remember my worst MRE, not worst MRE, but the worst time eating one was we were doing Overwatch for engineers putting up a small outpost in northern Iraq, and I was in the turret, guarding my sector, and I busted out an MP, and I probably had, no shit, 50 flies on me while I ate this horrible MRE in 125-degree weather.
Jeez.
It was so bad and disgusting that I remember laughing. Yeah.
Jeez.
That's nasty.
Yeah, that's why I'm so happy now.
So, in
Hit
the
the shower.
previous interview we just did, you talked about it. So, for those of y'all who haven't seen it, you have to go back and watch it. And then you said you would go back in, right? So, for the people watching, I guess, in a summary stance, what do you think that war does to young people on deployment?
Wow. I'm going to show you a picture of me graduating boot camp after this and a picture of me at a month home from war.
Yeah. What's the difference?
My eyes. The person, the soul, changes you. It hardens you.
Grow up fast?
Too fast. It took me 15 years to really be able to smile again. And I still have night terrors every night. And it's not just like me clearing buildings or my friends bleeding out or crazy shit from combat. It's just that anxiety and fear of death that just stays with me. And demons every night. I have demon connect to me every night, and it wakes me up. But I've been doing it for so long. I wake up, I'm like, I'll go get a glass of milk, and I'll just go back to bed. But it changes you.
So how difficult was the transition back to civilian life after military?
They kept us in like an incubator. We got back and I was still with the same guys, for a few more months till people started going different places. but they did not let us be regular MPs for like a while.
Really?
Well, they didn't want us to pull over some 60-year-old, spouse and be like, get the fuck out of the car, and treat them like we were still on a combat deployment. So it was I remember getting home. They have the ceremony. I remember sitting in the passenger seat with my ex-wife in my truck, and I just remember crying. Yeah.
So
I just couldn't believe I was home in a car.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen I haven't been inside a regular car in 15 months. I haven't seen a cell phone or a garbage can or grass. And we went on the highway, and I was so scared of cars driving by us. And I remember a couple weeks into being home, driving to the base from housing, and I remember getting woken up to like a phone call, and I was like, "What's up?" And like, "You're where you at?" I don't know how long. It had to be 30 minutes that I sat in a trance in my car looking at a bag of garbage on the side of the road.
hoping it doesn't explode.
Just in a trance. I'm just stuck in housing on the side, just looking at, just completely lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything that the government can do to better help the transition and after the transition treatment of veterans?
Yeah, there was no transition. They kind of looked at me and they were like, "Oh, you were hit by IEDs, you were in combat, you have a combat action badge, which means you were actively engaged by the enemy or engaged the enemy and killed the enemy." There's not a lot of people that have cabs. There's a bunch that kind of get them. They're like, "Oh, a mortar blew up 500 yards from me, so I want one." But 1% of the country becomes the military. 1% of the military sees, less than 1% of the military sees combat.
No.
So if there's 30,000 soldiers on a base, there's only 300 that are in combat.
No.
That's
Not
crazy
saying that you were military police and had to go see that though.
Well,
That
yeah, we're
still
all
fucking
of us.
blows my mind. That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't join thinking.
Yeah.
I did not join infantry for a reason.
So, like, how did they do the transition? They said, "Hey, you're here now. Just go grab a gun and fucking go." Like, was there no briefing? What did they
No, that, we-
gradually work you in? Like,
We got told we were deploying about a year out.
yeah,
And then we got taken off of regular military police duty, and we went to what's called green cycle, and we started training, going to gunnery and clearing houses and going on field training exercises and really booting up, getting ready for the deployment. Then you go to Kuwait. I was in Kuwait for like 17 days, doing gunnery again with the same weapons and getting ready, getting mission prepped. And then we got flown by C-130s into Tikrit. And no, there's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot. But the redeployment, we flew on a C-17 to Kuwait. We got back to Germany, had a ceremony. I went home that night.
was the redeployment easier or no? It's still
Yeah, it was the best day of my life.
really to go back into the shit show. It was,
No, to go home.
oh,
The hardest thing I've ever had to do is we had already had a guy go AWOL because he was so scared of getting killed. I had already been hit. You get to go home for 18 days on a 15-month deployment for leave. If it's a year, it's like 14. So I didn't go home until like my birthday, which happened to be 10 months into a deployment. So I was very like stuck. I forgot about Western civilization. This world did not exist to me anymore. I was just a soldier in combat. It was just a routine of waking up and getting your guns and going on patrol, basically living and sleeping in your truck and just being on guard and go. Because like I said, it's not about how many people, how many times you get into a fight and how many times you get hit. It's the hypervigilance of every second knowing it can happen that fucks you up.
yeah.
And the reality and severity of if it does happen, I'm fucking dead or I'm maimed for life.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when Obama, a lot of people say that they care about the presidency, yada, 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 but a lot of the things that presidents do usually do not directly affect an individual.
Right.
Like their day-to-day life. When Obama became president, he decided that hearts and minds were worth more than the safety of troops on the ground. So before he was president under Bush, you could not get within 100 meters of our patrol or convoy, or we could shoot at you and get you to go away. hearts and minds with Obama was we have to drive with traffic.
And
So
you have to operate more amongst the people.
I'm used to cars blowing up, IEDs. So I'm thinking, they're just gonna fucking drive up beside me, and I'm up in the turret. And so I used to cover my face all the time. And my buddy's like, "Why do you keep putting your hand up?" And I said, "So at least my face is visible in my casket, because the rest of my body's gonna be gone."
So at some points you felt like it was pretty much a suicide mission.
Every day we were IED catchers. It's fucking retarded.
Okay.
The only good I did was give out clothes and feed children that had nothing, and give out candy, and tell 5-year-olds that never even seen a pair of shoes that they were beautiful and they were worth something while they lived in a mud hut. The rest of it was fucking pointless.
Yeah.
As soon as we left, Tikrit was one of the first to get taken back over by ISIS. What did we do all that for?
Do you think being in the military is inhumane?
That's a good question.
I think that's kind of almost an oxymoron, because without it, we can't be human.
Mm-hmm.
Because we'll all be savages and just do whatever we want. There has to be structure. And with structure comes freedom and consequences to that freedom, which is rules and government.
I think it's kind of like, is winter evil because it kills plants and animals, or is it just nature's way? Like,
I think a lot of
good way to put it.
aspects of war are inhumane.
Yeah.
The reasons behind.
For rich people having fucking dick measuring contests,
Yeah.
let's put it that way.
I never
real,
never served. I always say, I didn't fight in the Iraq War for the U.S. military's government agendas. I fought for my brothers and sisters to the left and right of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you was defending your country while you was out there, or you was defending the
No,
people
we were like,
who got
bro.
stuck in the situations with you, basically?
Yeah, we're like, what the fuck are we doing right now?
Yeah.
Put us all on the border. Put us all in Jersey at the airports. Why the fuck? I'm 7,000 miles from home. This dude with sandals is a fucking threat to U.S.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
So basically,
This guy can't even shoot straight.
basically you get tricked into the military, and once you're in there, you're just fighting with all the other people who got tricked into doing the same shit you got tricked into.
Yeah. It's a very
up.
uniformed,
It's fucked up, see. Yeah.
it's a very uniformed group of idiots. And then you have no choice.
Yeah.
What are you going to get? Article 15s, lose your rank, lose your money, lose your time, get
Go
out,
to
get a
jail.
dishonorable discharge.
Yeah.
Your life's fucked. So
I have another question too. Sorry to take over.
No, go.
Just because you had mentioned before that, when you get out of the military, they tend to just kind of give you antidepressant. Like if you're sad, antidepressant. They don't really try to help you mentally. They just try to medicate you to calm you down. Speak about that a little bit.
well, I mean, it's no different than in the civilian world, right?
Right.
They don't, big pharma, we can get back into the corporations and the corruption and the agenda of the elite. There's a reason that doctors prescribe medication instead of sending you to someone that can heal you, like a physical therapist or, a life coach, or, because it's not profitable to fix the issue. I got back. I remember coming home that day, getting in the car, going home. It was crazy to be able to take a regular shower
Yeah.
and
It's like a culture shock. all
not
over
use a
again.
porta potty and going in the fridge.
Really?
What?
What?
Holy shit, opening my own refrigerator?
Yeah.
Fucking kidding me? Getting out of uniform, putting on a pair of sneakers? I was like, what the fuck is this? It was just weird.
Yeah.
But the second day I was home, we went through medicals, and yeah, they put me on Zoloft. And I was on it until 2019 when it literally made me have suicidal ideations.
Yeah.
It had been doing it, but I don't know if you've ever been on any SSRIs, antidepressants. It's hard to get off. And I was on bipolar medication. I was never bipolar.
Yeah.
You've known me a while. Am I ever different?
You are bipolar.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, am I really? Because hey, I guess if you're a nut, you wouldn't know, right? You know what I was? I was a drug addict. So I'm happy one day
Yeah.
because I'm up and my
can see
serotonin
that.
levels are going, and then when I'm not on drugs, I'm upset. So to the outside in, instead of you're just treating the symptoms. You're not treating the problem,
Yeah.
Right.
and that's what the military does.
Yeah.
And all they do is try to they make it so everything is about, well, not now, there's no war, but being deployable or non-deployable. Like they took my wisdom teeth out. I didn't have any pain. I didn't even want to go. I remember going to get them taken out, and I was like, sir, I have no pain, and I honestly don't want to go under anesthesia. I've never been under before. And the full bird colonel said, shut up, sergeant. You're going under. And that was it. I woke up at home with fucking 4 less teeth.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah. Okay, so having gone through the military and doing police also, I've got to ask you this question since you basically know so much. Are you still government property at this point?
No.
You believe you're free?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of funny. I do believe if shit got that bad, they would find a loophole to get someone like me, who's a former non-commissioned officer who led soldiers in combat, and they'd be able to somehow get a middle-aged man with face tattoos to get back in uniform based on threats. Somehow. It's kind of like what's called stop loss.
Yeah.
Stop loss is like when your time's over, but they just involuntarily, like they just expand your time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you thought you were getting out? No, got another year.
Yeah.
Needs of the Army.
Yeah.
But no, I know I'm still on the government's welfare. I go to the VA, so
Yeah.
But it's not, and I do want to make it clear that I love this country and I love the military, but I don't love the agenda of the military when it comes to the bigger picture. What I love is the camaraderie. I love my brothers, my sisters. I used to love, like I said, I used to really, really love this country and believe in it. And now I feel like I'm holding on to the belief and love of this country. It's kind of like, you ever like miss an ex and you're like, I love them so much, but you only think about the good. You don't realize the bad bullshit that they put you through. You just believe that you love and miss the idea of what it was, but that didn't even exist. You made that shit up in your own head.
So if you had to pick one, 10 Commandments or U.S. Constitution, which one you taking?
Constitution.
Over the 10 Commandments of the Bible?
Ooh, one or the other?
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely the commandments.
Yeah.
But I still want to bear arms.
My man. Okay.
Unless you're in Arizona, right? You heard about that shit?
No, what happened?
I think the governor was saying that she's going to put in an executive order. And I could be talking out my ass.
I mean, you're from Jersey. You're used to them taking your guns and shit, right?
You never have any guns, yeah. No, but they were saying that they're going to take all constitutional carry and concealed carry rights.
Yeah, and that's crazy how they could do that. Like,
I don't know if they can. I mean,
well, New York did it. There was no guns in New York for a while, and that's what.
Yeah, but who had all the guns?
Yeah,
the fucking bad guys, right?
Yeah,
that's like saying all the people who had, that's like saying just because so many people got DUIs that we're taking everybody, even though you drive no bad driving record, we're taking your license.
Yeah.
So all the people that drive fine, they're gonna lose their license.
So does law in the legal system only pertain to civilians and not the government?
In a lot of aspects, absolutely.
My man,
bro, it's money, money and power, and position.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't like how Congress can take away your rights at any time. Like there's a lot of stuff that it's like it's a law until Congress says that it's not a law. It makes no sense.
It's all bullshit.
Like, it's all smoke and mirrors, and it relates to the military for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like if the military tells you, hey, you can go shoot this, you can go take this gun and shoot somebody, you don't have no charges pressed against you. But if you do it without the military's consent, you're fucked.
Think about the brainwashing, especially with these young officers and a lot of old officers who were just trained by bad people 50 years ago. Yeah. Now they're wearing stripes, but they're still morons. You know how many times I swore to the Constitution, but I was just repeating what somebody was saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to MP school. I was an officer with the Department of Defense, federal,
Yeah.
I learned more about my rights as they were as they were trampled on as a civilian with addiction and getting on the wrong side of the fence for a while.
And how does that feel, having fought for the country, having fought for those rights? It's a fucked up situation, isn't it?
A lot of the things that put me in jail multiple times were my fault. So I take ownership in that shit. I deserved it. Yeah. Watching people lie in front of me in a courtroom about the type of father I am saying that I don't have a relationship with my children. And the only reason they have that fucking mouth on them is because I fought for the freedom for them to have a First Amendment.
Yeah. It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Because in any other country or a different time, I would have been able to be like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, just because you went to law school, you're getting paid to lie on someone's behalf right now.
Yeah.
And I fought for those rights. And it does not, it's unfortunate the bias that goes in with dads in a lot of ways. I have a degree. I'm sober. I passed hair follicle tests that were presented to the court that went back as far as a year. I had a paid attorney, $10,000 retainer plus. Doesn't matter. The bias in a lot of courts, especially in small town Texas.
Yeah.
But I am a part of why people have the right to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it broke my heart.
I got to ask y'all a question since I've got a male and a female in the studio at this point, right?
Is there any other genders?
I'm gender fluid. We'll call me the hermaphrodite.
It's a whole new can of worms. So I guess my opinion of it is, right, I feel like whatever the average income is, I think that's what child support should be capped at, because I don't feel like there's no way that someone should have a baby by Blake Griffin and get paid $3 million for a baby. As a male and a female, what do you guys feel on the subject? Do you think child support should be capped or no?
I think it depends on the child, right? So I agree with that in a lot of ways. If you met somebody and you just happen to be super wealthy and you sleep with them and you guys have a child, right? And they've lived a certain lifestyle and you've lived a certain lifestyle and that child is not used to that lifestyle, doesn't know it,
right?
Then yes.
But if the mother can't survive on the income of an average household, shouldn't the father get custody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
1,000%.
Yeah, it's not.
So what's the point of paying her $3 million a year? You see what I'm saying? Like, I could hire a nanny for less than that and have custody of my kids. You see what I'm saying?
No, I wonder if the father actually fought.
Yeah. I mean, that's true, but shit, for $3 million.
Some of them would rather not fight. I was told by my attorney in Southeast Texas that I was one of the first passionate fathers that has fought and tried harder than any. It's normally the other way around. They don't want to pay child support. Right. They don't want to be in their kid's life. I moved back into my children's life after having them ripped out of my life and was fighting tooth and nail for years to be in their life. Yeah. Not a lot of dads do that.
Right. Lena, any thoughts, any input?
I don't think that there, personally, I don't think there should be a cap, but I think in order for anybody to be paying child support, there should be a DNA test.
Right. Well, okay, yeah, that's
because there's a lot of people that pay child support and they don't have a DNA test and they don't find out till later that, oh my God, 18 years old paying child support and all of a sudden this kid ain't even mine.
Well, how about this? My two boys, I adopted them and raised them for 8 years. The last 2 or 3 years that they were being kept from me and I was paying child support for them and my biological daughter, they were hanging out all the time with their biological father behind my back while being kept from me.
Fuck up.
Wow.
And why were they with him? Not because he's a good dad, because he signed his rights over and I raised them so that she could further rip them away from me.
That's fucking
It was a vindictive way but I had to pay child. So in that case, if you are an adoptee, you adopt kids, you raise them. Now they're being kept, alienated from you from the other parent, but they're back with their biological parent. You should not have to pay. That should be an immediate, that should be jail time. That's bullshit.
You know what I think is a somewhat of a good idea is that if you're gonna be paying child support, there should be like a Cash App card or something like that keeps track of everything that you spend money on.
Like receipts.
Receipts. Like if you're gonna be using a man's child support to pay for items, it should be child related. So there should be like a monthly cap of like, hey, the man can go back in and check the little Cash App card and say, okay, she bought food for at Walmart or she bought school supplies at here, and it has to say everything that they bought instead of being like, oh well, why does the amount of money get to go into her bank account and now she's paying for her car note?
Well, how about this? We paid for the car, the insurance, all the TV, over $1,000 in child support for the 3 kids, 2 not mine, while she dated a new guy who was great who made 150,000 a year probably. The kids are hanging out with bio dad, right? They're being kept from me. I finally see the kids because of COVID. She was using that. Oh, you're in San Francisco. If you visit, you'll bring COVID. She just kept keeping them from me. Finally, my dad steps up and is like, no, I'm coming. I want to see my grandkids. So he pays for a lot of the stuff, the truck and shit. She's not going to say no. We get to the hotel and my son is wearing these shoes and they look small. And I'm like, what are those? And he goes, they're mommy's shoes. I grew out of mine.
What?
And I'm like, I just saw your mom go to like Mexico. She's going on all these trips. You guys are going to Florida with her boyfriend. And I'm giving over $1,000 a month. And it's not like she had a mortgage. She inherited the house. So she has no mortgage. She's getting all this money. She has a brand new $60,000 truck. She's got a boyfriend. She works. All this bullshit. And you're not even, the kids aren't even, they should be wearing fucking Jordans.
Right.
They should be wearing crispy stuff.
Right.
And you're keeping them from me. I dealt with that for 7 years. And then I finally signed the paper a couple months ago because I can't beat City Hall.
Yeah.
I can't. We spent like 60, 70,000 on attorneys and moving and all this shit.
And that's one of the things too, is like guys don't have as much rights as much as women are like, oh, feminism, and they want to fight for rights and all this bullshit. But I'm like, a woman has more rights to her kids than a man does, and these are her kids too. These are his kids too.
Well, it's part of the government. What they want single women with kids, and they want the men in jail, basically, right? Because it's easy pickings. It's like whatever, they stop us from getting the things we need to do what we need to do, but then they give the woman everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Saying that makes them dependent on the government,
Exactly.
basically. You see what I'm saying? Because everything's provided.
Yeah, it's sad. And that was my life for 7 years.
Yeah.
You know? But eventually, you have to, I just talked about this with Marvin yesterday. And there's a lot of men that are scared of the day that their children grow up. So they don't have to look them in the eye. I cannot wait for that day because I did everything I could do.
Yeah.
There's nothing else I can do. I did everything I could do. To include respect their mother to the utmost. Nobody disrespected she's the mother of my children.
Mm-hmm. And not one single fuck was given, was it?
No. But I should have known because when I met her, she was going through a divorce. She had the 2 kids, ripped them out of his life, found another fucking jackass being me, then was doing it. I just think it finally caught up to her because from what I've been told from outside sources, through legal means, public means, that she was supposed to get married. My son told me 2.5 years ago, hey, mommy's getting married. And I was like, that's great because John's a good guy. He's got 3 little girls, stand-up man, but they're not married now.
Yeah.
So I think he finally caught on. Like, oh, you did this to 2 guys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
As far as like children and adoption and custody and all that, if you held a political position, what would you change?
Ooh. Good question.
How would you change this?
I would make sure that all parents are represented equally despite the amount of money in their pocket. Because it's about the children.
How can we make the adoption process easier?
God, because it's not even about the kids in the adoption
money,
It's
right?
about money. It's and that's funny. The same country that talks about human trafficking and children being trafficked all the time. Why do you make it so hard for a child to be adopted?
I love that reference. I love that. I love
Right?
that comparison. Yep. I love it.
And a lot of thing non-military people don't see is once you cross the border and you go overseas, a lot of things like laws don't apply. The same laws that apply in this country don't apply over there no more. So the shit that's, I guess, illegal here is no longer illegal in other countries.
Oh, Germany, man. I love Germany. I am German. I speak German. I could live there.
What's the difference in police between Germany and the United States?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, go pull your phone out and talk shit to a Polizei. Good luck. My first taste of that was every year there's a it's not Halloween, but it's like Halloween for adults. It's called Fasching, where adults get dressed up and they go out drinking and they have fun. So you'll see people all over the city in costumes. I was on a joint patrol with the Polizei, being a military police, because there are a lot of Americans in the area, so it helps police your own. I remember a bar fight kind of broke out, And in America, we kind of identify the subjects and try to get to like the two guys that are fighting, right?
Yeah.
Sounds pretty normal. They pulled out a fire extinguisher sized thing of gel pepper spray and foamed the entire fucking bar.
Oh, Jesus.
Yep.
So we think we have it bad with police in America. It's nothing compared
Oh,
to
tell a
Germany.
cop that believes that you're under the influence that you have constitutional rights and roll your window up. They're going to break your window. They're going to pull you up, and they're going to take your fucking blood on the side of the Autobahn. And then you can't sue them. There's no civil court against the government over there.
Really?
No. Good fucking luck. Good luck. Go to Russia and do that shit. Fuck out of here. That's why we got all these pansies in this fucking country.
Yeah.
Everybody's a fucking pussy. Because we allow everyone to do whatever the fuck they want. There's no accountability. That's why I want to smack people so much. I digress.
All right. So speaking of you being in political positions, right? So they
That
say
just sounds funny.
definitely getting blowjobs in the Oval Office.
Get out.
But she will be my wife. And I will smoke a cigar while she does it.
They say 17 veterans suicide every day.
25.
13% of them are homeless. Of all veterans are homeless, something like that. How would you improve the system as someone in political office? How can we change the homeless and veterans? How can we help the suicide rate?
Well, I think the first thing I would do is when you're transitioning out of the military, I would ensure that you have somewhere to go that's stable, because you're leaving one entirely different life and going into an entirely different life that you no longer know.
Right.
You don't have a purpose in that life. You don't have a position in that life. You don't have any guidance in that life.
So how will we give them purpose and guidance?
We would make sure that they were set up successfully to achieve that. They have like a 5-day or 2-day program now when you're in the Army. It's
come
ACAP.
on.
And like, do you know how to write a resume? We'll help you write. Like, they don't set you up. Like, what if you don't? What if you're not like me and you can't go home to a house in Jersey and live with your dad?
Right.
What are you going to do? Because a lot of soldiers, they're not great with their money. So it's not like they were saving $500 a paycheck for, the fucking Coke all day, the 6 years that they were in.
Yeah.
I would start at the core. Before someone gets processed out, I would ensure that they are set up and all the steps have been taken so that they can be properly transitioned into the civilian world.
Man.
That would alleviate, why guys are homeless? Because they get out, they're going to their girlfriend they just fucking met. They break up. Now he's fucking living in his car. He loses his car. He's depressed, so he's drinking. Then he goes to the VA and they just give him fucking pills. And now he's homeless and he's on fucking drugs and he hates himself and no one cares what he did for this country. So he blows his fucking brains off in a parking lot.
Yeah.
It can be alleviated. But the government doesn't give a fuck. They just give a fuck when they want to give a fuck. Like today, when it's 9/11 and I can go in front of people and act like I care about America.
Yeah.
But you don't give a fuck. All you care about is being selfish, not selfless. And that's why I don't like having these conversations with people. All the people that I hear a lot of the red pill shit. All these people that, that want to talk about being a real man and having values and rights and shit. But they're a bunch of fucking pussies too.
Yeah.
You got rights. I got daughters. What have all these millionaires who claim to be high level done for anybody else besides themselves? Nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why they're in that position, rightfully so. But that's not the way that I look at someone for value. I don't look at your fucking bank account. I look at who you are as a person. And if you're fucking squeaky clean, I don't want to talk to you. Because you're either full of shit
Or a liar.
or a liar.
Yeah. All right.
There you go.
So
Get me fucking started.
something else I got to talk about, right? That happens in the military a lot. Your release date versus when you actually got released. Did it match?
No, so I actually got processed out early for getting in trouble for a steroid.
Okay.
No.
So everybody does juice, right? We were prepping to go to Afghanistan at the time. Everybody was on sauce. Being that I was at the time an acting platoon sergeant, squad leader, when soldiers got caught, I took the rap for everybody
Yeah.
because they were my Joes.
But you were overseas, right?
No, this is in Louisiana years later.
Oh, okay.
I stayed in for a long time, so Iraq was 08. We're talking 2012.
Why would steroids be illegal in the military? It's a performance-based.
Yeah, because they're illegal.
Would they say you're cheating?
It's illegal everywhere.
Like you're cheating, or your performance,
It's not frowned upon in the eyes of, but on
It's your
paper,
job to kill people. Like, hey, I want to take steroids so I can kill people better.
that was exactly my mindset.
Like,
if I die, it's because I was
why
meant
would
to
that
die,
be?
not
It
because
makes
I was
no
a pussy and
sense.
couldn't get up the mountain.
Exactly. So it makes no sense to me that it would be illegal.
No, but
in the
but for
military.
me, I didn't have I had a different release date, and I was probably just going to re-enlist for like another 10 years or just do 20.
Yeah.
Because I was fast tracking, and I would have definitely made it to the top of where I could have in the enlisted side. Because I made sergeant promotable in 3 years and 10 months to make staff sergeant in 4 years, and nobody does that.
No.
You guys, some guys make staff sergeant in 15 years. You know what I mean? So I was way ahead of my peers. So I would have definitely stayed in. But when everybody got caught, I got caught with the steroids. I didn't snitch on anybody. I didn't say anything. Even my leadership, my operations, like master sergeants were juicing with me.
Yeah.
I took the fall for everybody. Got out on a general under honorable conditions. I didn't lose rank. They didn't want to take my rank or really fuck me because they didn't want me to snitch.
Right.
So you want to give me a dishonorable and take my rank? We're all going to fucking hell together.
Right.
So I got out. I remember when I was processing out, they said, you're the first person to ever get processed out for something like this, and you're still wearing your chevrons.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't ask, you know?
Don't ask, don't tell.
So I got out. A year later, I got an honorable discharge, full honorable, got an upgrade in my release, and got offered to go back in. My re-enlistment code changed to a 1-1, which means I could re-enlist. But I had such a bitter taste in my mouth that... So I got kicked out the wrong way. I was supposed to go to what's called a Army Review Board because I had over 6 years active honorable service, and because of my rank, I was supposed to, based on like my service, be given the chance to talk about what was going on. But they missed that detail and just processed me out within 7 days.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know I was getting out. 7 days later, I'm in Jersey looking at my dad like, fuck.
So they processed you out of the military for steroids, but let's talk about what they're doing with baby formula.
Oh, God. You getting the booster?
No.
I got to ask, are you vaccinated?
No.
Did you get any of them?
No.
Me neither. I didn't get nothing.
None.
I did.
You did?
I had to work though.
Okay, so I did say at one point to my wife, if me not being vaccinated hinders my ability to feed us,
Then you get
then I'll do it.
Right.
But because I was getting VA disability benefits and going to school my GI Bill via Zoom, I still got paid. So it never came into play.
Right.
I'm very glad I didn't now because of all the people dropping dead and
Yeah.
the cardiac issues and the blood clot issues and the strokes. But
I don't know
I
if
think
you-
they're doing that with baby formula now. Look at the metal. Well, our baby formula from my 9-month-old comes from Switzerland. Which I believe is one of the best. I've been to Switzerland, but I believe that it's one of the better countries.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think NATO, a lot of NATO countries try to adopt a lot of the values of America because we're big brother. But if you really go there, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They're just playing the game to get a check from $1 and have a big ally.
Yeah.
But if you go there, it's so different when it comes to medical and Kindergeld, let's say in Germany. If you have a baby, you get you get money
Yeah.
every month. You get taken care of. In Switzerland, they'll pay you and give you like 2 nurses around the clock for 6 months. Like there's a lot more going on with like healthcare
Right.
and money in a lot of other countries. And in this country, unfortunately, even down to the fucking baby formula, where we're going to say there's a shortage and that didn't get on the boats so that you have to take the only shit that we got, which is probably poisoned with vaccinations and all this other metals and all this bullshit because they possibly, I don't know, conspiracy, want to fucking lower the population. But there's a lot of weird shit that it's hard to overlook, man. It's hard to not go, wait, let me, no. You have, some things are so weird, you got to look into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think baby formula is just another avenue that they use. I mean, cocaine was an avenue
Yeah.
with the CIA. There's so much shit.
You know, I think it's fucked up that you, as a military vet, you can't go to Mexico and get your medications that you need, but they can order it from Mexico and sell it to you here. I think that's fucked up.
Yeah. I fortunately, because of the height of my percentage, I don't pay for any medications or any,
No deductibles?
nothing.
Okay.
No. I could go get a sex change tomorrow for free.
I'd be rich. I'd walk outside with my vagina and an empty purse and come back with money every damn day.
Yeah. Oh man, but no. I think we have to sit back and really take a look at age limits of Congress and people making decisions, and from all levels of poverty all the way to the elite, and the middleman and inflation. There's so many issues in this country that I don't believe. I think the presidential position is it's impossible. It shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, it doesn't exist. They're just a pawn.
Right. I mean, they're just there for bigger corporations. That's who they really work for.
Yeah, they're the
whoever
CEO.
supports their campaign.
But I think we need at this point in time,
Yeah.
with the right people, fuck right or left.
Right.
I've never voted.
Right. I've never voted either.
Because for what,
For
dude?
what? Makes no sense.
So I waste some time in line with a bunch of assholes?
You guys never voted?
No.
No.
Do you think it matters?
You can't vote for the cabinet. You know, the team that the president gets, you don't vote for that. They are pushed up by other political members.
Yeah,
They
it doesn't
handle
matter.
a lot of shit around the country. Yeah.
It's
Okay,
all.
no, I'm just surprised because I've never voted.
Oh, see, good.
But I'm just like this is Justice Junkeez and a man in the military. I was like, wait, what? Like, what the fuck?
Well, I've done a lot for this. I've done so much for this country that I've already proved my worth, and my selfless service based on non-biased.
Right.
I've just, no matter who was in office, I was going to do my fucking job.
Right.
Me going to a cubicle and signing some shit that I don't even know where it's going.
Right.
To me, it's a waste.
Half the shit you can't even read because it's so complicated. It's so drawn out to be not understood, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and literally, if I'm not a fan of Joe Biden at all, but if he came in here, I'd stand up and I'd salute him and treat him as such because he is the president of the United States.
I wouldn't.
Well, that's just, I did not, there's no time limit on my service, in my heart.
Yeah.
So I didn't like Obama. I've served under 3 presidents. Like, it is what it is. I do remember cutting my grass in Texas when Trump won, and I was thinking, we're going to get blown up by Korea. We're going to war. Never happened, thank God. But yeah, the person doesn't matter. I think it would alleviate if we stopped the right and left banter and we just went back to let's all just be human, and the best interests of Americans was what in the forefront of everybody's thoughts.
No.
And we literally had educated people that were the best based off of them being the best, not their gender or their race.
Or who they know.
Or who they know. The best of the best. Kind of like when Will Smith got inducted into Men in Black. He just happened to be the best that time. I think that America would actually be a lot better, but I think we're so far in the hole right now. And I don't know if people know this, but like they talk about all the trillions of dollars of debt. We're like $2 trillion in debt, cash, printable money. The rest is fake.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit.
It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit numbers they put in your bank account.
Yeah. It's all crazy, bro.
All right. So I have to ask you, we're probably running short on time,
You guys
right?
have 5 minutes.
Oh,
but-
shit.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So how do we prevent suicide within the military?
Ooh.
Should we have more mental evaluations and just
No.
lock them up in military prison to stop it?
No. I mean, that's one way to stop things is just completely shut down, lock the doors and bolt them closed. No, I believe that. Look, my problem with the VA when it comes to like mental health is I've been through so much that they can't relate. Just because you got a fucking degree and you read a bunch of books. Have you ever like pumped gas and thought about a car blowing up? You ever sat in a movie theater and thought, damn, when we walk outside, maybe there's a sniper on the roof across the street? Or you ever see your friends get killed? Like you ever see children burned alive? You don't fucking get it.
So you think somebody working in the VA under mental
Me.
hospital should be recent military?
I think they need to be war vets. They have to
But
be.
recent war vets, right?
Any type of war vet. I had a Vietnam vet. He was the best counselor I ever had.
Yeah.
And they transferred him. I'm like, yeah. So, and it's not even, the VA's a small portion.
Right.
Especially when it comes to men and providers. Money's a big issue, right?
Yeah.
I've been fighting the VA forever to get this percentage up. We need to, like I said, when we transition people out, we need to make sure, fuck everybody else. Veterans need to start manning up and taking care of veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the only people that are going to do it. My buddy today, my best friend, went to Iraq 3 times, Afghanistan once. This is what he knows it's 9/11 today, and that my dad was at ground zero. Be strong, brother. I know today's heavy for you. I'm here if you need me. I get off at 6. I love you, and I'm so proud of you and your father.
Aww.
I haven't talked, we text each other. We have to keep accountability of each other.
Yeah.
If we expect a handout or all these other people to get it,
Yeah.
we're all going to die. It's going to be too late.
Is there a part of you that misses the gunfights?
That's a yes.
They took us snowboarding when we got back.
All right.
What the fuck?
There's some things that you do in this life that will always stay with you and cannot be replicated,
No.
even if they're dangerous or scare you.
What's the biggest gun you've ever shot, and did you get an erection while you were shooting it?
Biggest would probably be a Mark 19 grenade launcher.
Really?
Yeah.
You fucked some shit up with that?
At the range. We didn't use them in Iraq. The collateral damage. But that thing will go. The maximum effective range of a Mark 19 is 2,212 meters.
Yeah.
It's pretty far.
So full chub.
Yeah.
Full chub.
I still remember this shit. I can still tell you a map is a geographical representation of a portion of the Earth's surface drawn on a scale as seen from above.
Jesus Christ.
Call me fucking the Bourne Identity. What am I? What's his name?
Yeah, Jason Bourne.
Jason Bourne, baby.
All right. I need you to strap in for this. This was going to be a tough one. This is probably the last question. We're running low on time.
Okay.
Because you're not anti-government and you're not anti-police.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
But so the question is, as you look around at this country as a whole, do you feel like this is what people went to war and died for? You think this was what they wanted?
No. What I see every day on the news and what the normal Americans consuming and the way that the world is and the economy and our judicial system and our political system, this is not the vision I had when I saluted that flag and pledged my life to go fight for this country and the rights that we were born with. This isn't the America that I fell in love with as a kid.
What would you change?
I think people need to learn to love this country again and respect it. And the only way I think that can happen is if you get perspective. And a lot of people don't have it. They stay in their inner cities. They don't leave. You can watch a lot of movies about Europe and different countries, but if you don't go to a third world country or go to the Middle East or places that will kill you for not wearing a dastasha over your head because of a religion or stone you to death for protesting something you believe in, you'll never fully know how good America is until you